Aremol. Aremol ko mga fenji. All right, assalamu alaikum. Bari mo ngal kontong, ngal tol ngal kontong lo. You know, I hope you all can hear me. You know, evidently you would be able to. So, you know, we will get on the conversation quite briefly. But today we would want to just focus on, you know, these so-called three military witnesses, and we will give you some analysis on how a real military person would actually behave in a shooting incident like that. So we will play a scenario and tell you how a professional soldier should behave, you know, in contrast to what these so-called soldiers told us that they actually did. The reason why we're continuing this conversation is that the court has decided that this case is not coming up until October, which is 90 days, 3 months. Now, just think about it. Everybody in the Gambia know that these folks have nothing to do with this case. They have been incarcerated for almost 1 year, 6-7 months now. You know, they're not coming to court. No, one year, almost 9 months now. They're not coming to court until after 2 years of their incarceration. Because by September 13th, would be 2 years exact, and then they will only come to court 1 month after that. Now we're in July, August, September is 2 years, so they're like 1 year, 10 months almost in prison. And for a matter they know nothing about. But what is important is not, you know, what the government of the Gambia, the criminal government in the Gambia, has decided to do. Even though it's very evident to everybody that the government of the Gambia is responsible for the killing of the cops. We will just want to give you real-time analysis of what exactly a military person would have done compared to what this idiot said they had done. You don't need to be a soldier to understand this. Let's say, for instance, there is an incident like that and it happened in a particular location, Sukuta traffic light. And you have 3 military personnel who said they were coming from a particular location and they got to this particular spot. While the shooting was happening, they were present. When a shooting is happening, as a military expert or as a military, you know, professional, and you are within that environment, there are a couple of things you got to do. You hear gunshot, first observe your environment and understand the direction in which the shot is coming from. Now take cover. Now you take cover to know and of course to examine the environment of where this shooting is coming from. Now upon taking cover, what do? If you have no weapon, you cannot fire back. Now if you have no weapon to fire back, you cannot also go empty-handed running after somebody who has a gun who can turn and kill you, because you have no life vest, you are not in your military gears, you do not have any weapon with you at all. Your best weapon in that case is to hide and of course make calls for reinforcements or for whatever, you know, backup. Even though it was not a military operation, but of course you as a military personnel who witnessed this particular incident, you had no weapon whatsoever. If it happens, you only need to take cover. Take cover because you had no weapon to fire back and you cannot pursue this person. The best thing you could do is to call. Now, in a Western setting like America, you only got to call, you know, 911. Now in the Gambia, I do not know if you have like any call center like that for, you know, a security, you know, alert or whatever. But if you do not, I expect these military people to have their colleagues who would have been on duties, or they have, you know, phone numbers to their sentries in different military installations. So the best bet would have been to hide and make calls for quick military, intervention. And then you have QRF. You have a quick reaction force in the military and of course in the paramilitary. So why then these 3 military officers make calls for quick reactions while they actually, you know, observe the situation? No, they did not do that. Now, the funny thing would be, if one of these soldiers said the person that actually killed the cops wore a kaftan, and another military officer who was with him claimed that this person wore a yellow t-shirt or whatsoever. And we know why a yellow t-shirt, because your whole intention was to frame the United Democratic Party. But again, the whole point is, if somebody is firing, you had no weapon whatsoever, and then you had nobody to support you in that regard, what would you do? Is to take cover and make calls. Now, can somebody tell me that these 3 military officers who came to court and testified, did any of them mention that I tried to call for reinforcement? No. But I told them more call for reinforcement to come. But they all have their phones because they were calling each other. You don't have a weapon. You are pursuing a gunman. How can you even pursue a gunman, a trained military professional who said that he's a gun mastermind, and of course he's a weapon expert at the military training school, but does not know that without a weapon whatsoever, the best bet you got is to take cover and of course to make calls, because you cannot fire back because you have no firearm, and of course you cannot go pursuing a gunman empty-handed. That is militarily stupid. So that means it did not happen, because if it happened, it is militarily stupid. Those folks got to be fired from the army because they don't understand what I, a civilian, would do better. But I mean, funniality is all cock and bull story. Now, explain this to a military recruit and they will tell you that these dudes are lying because they don't know what they're talking about. Explain it to a mere police officer who probably only learned how to do left, right, and go sit in an office or be a traffic police. They will tell you these folks are lying. Because there is no way that I would, be in let's say in a mall and there are shootings and I go pursuing the gunman. No, I will take cover and quickly make a call for reinforcement or probably for military or police intervention. I am not probably in that capacity at that particular point in time to pursue a gunman without any arms. So I saw one of them and then I wrote to him a message on Facebook. He refused to respond. And one thing that pleases me now is that Detective Ibu Sow, who was very key in framing Usainu Bojang, lying against him, formatting his telephone. Ibu Sow was calling a media house in the Gambia to tell them to remove his photo from a story about what he said in court, and then that was not favoring the police, and then his photos were actually on that newscast. He compelled that news outlet to remove his photos because Ibu Sow does not want to be recognized. But Ibu Sow, why do you not want to be recognized? Why are you hiding your face? You are hiding everywhere, even on the social media you are hiding. Bro, you cannot hide. Lena nak mo halako, yo undaw nga kom man. Yes nga man. Bone weex na mën a la tal, ñuul na mën a la kuk, fees na mën a la tepp, jeex na mën a la takk, xees na nag wax wala xonk na nag ñu ne la cuy, xees na nag mooy loolu. Pako, yow doo mën a nekk ndaw comme Usainu Bojang, nga nekk ndaw comme man, nga nekk ndaw comme keneen ak keneen, nga bëgg a ñoo jaay na yow yaa gën a réew Gambia pour di tuumal nit ñi ay doomi góor, ay doomi jaamur yoo xamante ne defuñ la dara simply because of your ethnicist behaviors within the police force. We got to tell the truth to each other without any fear of any contradiction. Because ñun kan lañ fi ragal. Because aduna lena rek mo mëna am. Ika kibaya ñaming ika mol la demanding, ika kutu kuye, ya ko yaron ko dol bi jol manjarala. But ne one thing, nimbala firma do no anybody can do anything. Mo bela balo sa firino, mo bela sa wulno ka wulyalla wandi mol kanke just to incarcerate them simply because you have position of authority. You have the audacity, the guts to format Usainu Bojang's phone, and the judge had the audacity to actually, post that case for the next 3 months. As he's going for a vacation. I don't want to get to that point, but you can go for whatever vacation. But I mean, mo tonya de wala nyinteko. Albe tonya tamani la nyinkestol. And pleasing to hear is that we have written to a lot of international, institutions, donor partners to the Gambia, partners who are involved in governance in the Gambia in one way or another, the diplomatic mission and so on and so forth. And we are getting responses from a couple of them. And you know what is interesting? Most of these folks are already following this case and, of course, knowing what we are saying. And in some of their letters, it's like, you know what, we appreciate your continued advocacy for justice in this case. And we have been following the case. That tells me enough that, of course, the international and the diplomatic mission in the Gambia is keenly following Usainu Bojang's case as they put in their letters. What of Gambia mansakundal sa minin tafal albe tonyala tamandla jang. Allah wulian, Allah double double. The whole world knew that this government is manipulative, it is deceitful, and of course, it's built on nothing but lies. Ndeysaan ali wala ke janna ko ke sana fadera. I remember when we were at the UTG, he wanted to be student government president and I was his backup speaker. Very, very humble young man, very respectable and very respectful to people. al jeki da drong alko ko is going to do a coup ali on nimmo ko dong mo min yalgo dole be je wol fallen dol karan dara ali wol mo daja mi ali dole bule ko al jeki da kare sana fade restaurant alko lafta coup da kala a be fanya. This government is built on lying against ordinary citizens just to, you know, maintain economic presence in the Gambia. But after 10 years, economic will not continue to exist in our country. What a kenola? Because no government is there, no president supposed to serve more than 10 years. And those are part of ECOWAS protocol. So therefore, we will not maintain economic after 10 years. And then the funny thing is, you have the dumbest CDS in the Gambia. Amanta diala de mba fala la kanya da fala nyami manay na le mol pousse de wolen pousser ñi beñu sessi mir bi amul dara lu ñuy ragal fi ni ay tapet deguñu fi al mo wala long because ni mol ke de ke kam malala molon ke de just like go things, it doesn't mean that dañ leen ragal wala da ngeen you know atol mu fennati mol manke no minti wala kudo al manke fenna fendi na manke tapale man sakunda sun sulutol ni sun kanyangol min balla man sakunda wuliani tapale ya with, you know, negative ethnicity ko don tamanda la man sakunda kurun man sakunda bu gena yesi aduna bi amud, you know, amud bu opa bu adam baro bi ngir bu ñaka xam-xam ci aduna bi amul ku, you know ku raw adama baro government bu bon ci aduna bi amul bu raw adama baro wherein inequality, poverty, and of course seizing people's lands and sharing it among your ministers, you know, taking people's properties and demolishing and destroying them. That is the government that is supposed to be serving people. Nguru bo xamantene ID card sa mënu loko joxal sa wari yow lan nga ñu mëna defal. Nguru bu gëna yési aduna bi, you know, is that of Adama Barrow. Waye nak wax bi fu mu nekk moy ne da ngeen rey police yi, ngeen jël soldat yi ni yóbbu leen toog yi, you know, as a compensation, you know, dem si court bi di fen fofu non because your soldier naka ngay nekké di daw, you know, si gannaaw ko xamantene koko fetal la yor te nga gis ko mu ngay rey ay nit yow naka ngay topé koko. Mentally you cannot even do that, and that is why the guy came to court and he was lying because he said he got battle shock. Gis nga battle shock boko amé, you don't pursue the person who is basically, you know, shooting you. You either just thief at one place or basically you hide and that's just it, and you are nowhere to be seen. You cannot have battle shock at the same time you are pursuing the enemy. That cannot be possible. That's a lie. It's a fabrication. We don't need to be soldiers to know that. But since the beginning of this case, we are able to read a lot within and around criminal justice procedures and of course criminal justice systems around the world, and to see how the criminal justice system of the Gambia has been operating. Abuka kefendi namange tapaliani mbandiyani kuriat. So what exactly will this government of the Gambia tell people? Go. If the opposition is unable to, young people got to stand together and of course bring a regime change in that country, because this disgusting regime cannot and will not serve the interests of the common man in the Gambia. No hamantane welka police will jibe, they wear uniform to come and serve their country, to kill them simply because you hate the opposition political party. And then all of a sudden you will adjourn the case for 3 months. You expect a lactating mother to sit in prison for another 3 months with the brother for nothing they know anything about. For 2 solid years, they are in prison for what everybody in the Gambia knows that is not true. Why Gambia la bo nyama? Ko jog ñu naan ay julit lañ ko wuli ko ngay ko biti ko wuli wala, you know, xam nga do na manke ka fonda bu sa duma ka wul na boda jey ala ñaasi lan fo man ci andol kono, because you see people min yalo. So those are things that we basically need to pay attention to. The fact of the matter is that these military officers were lying to the teeth. And some of them we know were complaining bitterly about the regime. But of course we know some of them were part of all the WhatsApp groups of the NPP. Go bi wal dal fo bonne no la jede. Gis nga aduna. No lon kunda konto ñi nga taje. Adol yamu dal ko ngol jaatale mané. Deger bopa ku nekka mëna deger bopa. Waye boy mag rek da nga di xawurus nga baye nay. Waye yeen genul leena xam ñi lu ngeen di doxale réew mi ci jib ko tapale yi ni. Some of these criminal doings atol ma ñameng fam, your military witnesses are just the dumbest in the Gambian armed forces. Your ballistic examiner is the most disgusting military major I have ever heard of in the Gambia. And today I'm going to focus on the Gambian National Army. Ken ragalu len fi de, amu len dara lo len xam ñu ñi xamul. Kon doxal len dega. Masane kinde mo yahon army bi mu dem talk TRRC as the first witness, and then with a doctored voice and of course, you know, in camera. Waro be mu esa falla tapale ya na la bandi ya ni la kurialete, because Masane Kinte served in Yaya Jammeh's regime and they did all kind of things to Gambian people. All of a sudden that is the person you would have to hide his face. What is that if not negative ethnicity Oh, it's other people. Numbabu karjada ngendi toglo al kalkul le malu ni wodada bar masana kinde mi yalan ko he served on the Jammeh for almost 4 years. After jongola ñu fofu non di def nakas dudul non. Why do len ñoo toglo ko laajte ko dega bi why da ngeen ko ne you hide his face and of course put a doctored voice and you think Gambians wouldn't know? And that is your smartness, Isafal, thinking that you know something better than Gambians. No, you might be very good at asking questions, but some of those things, they are logic. It's just logic. Law is basically, the legally written, instrument, and of course, logic. You put law and logic at play, that is basically what it is. Nothing more. So Senjiko Tapaleyo, Lalani Masakunda was built on lies and fabrication. That is why you will deliver nothing on the TRRC. You will deliver no fucking constitution. You will deliver nothing on all these little recommissions you are putting up again. Because Ngurbu yes, rekamona defli. Yonga tahawal commission, be commission bijia. No taxi commission wo uno nga tahawal commission against those people again. That tells you how disgusting the regime is. And part of those assets we are actually taking by the head of state himself. Ngeen toog naa ne da ngeen di defar loi ku leen saaga ngeen tëj lu ñooñu noonu waaye boo leen ñu saagee dara du si xew. Are you people working for the Gambians or working for yourselves? That you people can go into the Gambian National Assembly ragalu leen tiitu leen ngeen ne da ngeen di defar loi boo xamante ne ku leen saaga rek ngeen tëj lu ñooñu waaye yéen kay mun ngeen ñooy saagandee dara du si xew mun ngeen ay sàcc suñu alal dara du si xew yéen ay ñaan. Idiots who know nothing, some of them whom you would have taught in university cannot even pass exams properly. Could sit and tell us that, you know what, if you insult us, you go to jail, but if we insult you, nothing is going to happen. You're not going to do and you want people to watch you. I think, that youth, whatever group, Gala, your people need to take charge of that country now. Bataraya Gambia. Hey, freedom and revolutions don't actually begin basically sitting at home or on the social media doing whatever. You people got to inform and communicate to this government in the streets to understand that, you know what, enough is enough. Tapalayan in Tilimbalian in Joyan in Hasidian Bimbanko Kanyanda Danale. Most Adam Barola Masakunda, Mamaliman Seleka, Luka from Moleko, you are going to what people who are going to, try to be obstacles to your third term. Itamamaliman Sela, you don't even have the conscience and the shame to tell that to Gambian people. I'm going to kunyaka gumi yalla rek mo muna melni. Albi wala nyama ni mole se modi yalla camera ko is your biological inheritance. Why do we have de? Deka bini. To nyambi wala tamane la jang. This government is the most disgusting government that Gambia has ever had since its birth. But let's bring it into context again to these military folks. Like I said, the Gambia CDS is the most disgusting, dishonorable, and uninformed person who has zero military intelligence. Why did I say so? And he's throwing this government under the bus without knowing. Imagine the CDS going to meet officers and soldiers in a town hall where the soldiers are expected to tell him their problems. Military problems are not for the public. But what did they do? They brought in cameras, put everything on a videotape, while the soldiers were telling him, even uniform combat boots we don't have. For the last 8 years, the Gambian military has been disarmed simply because they want to protect one greedy man who feels that he can continue to be president for 15, 20 years. That is why the Gambia will not have a new constitution. That guy is a complete failure. Every commission that he has established has failed. And of course, even beyond failure, they've looted our resources and now they are establishing other inquiries into people who said looted assets were looted by themselves again. You can't forget. My dega opposition party in a batambedu lañ fi defend. Batambedu ni momanta eta pour des sorong mo le mile 2. Alma mol tenkondi. Hey. Momanta sila la mola jande. Ano momanta mo nyako na jibe la jande. The common denominator is the Gambia. People support you here and there. You people got to do justice to this country. Why nonsense? MYE. Look at this local government, commission. And you know what they do? Oh yeah, we have a big project. It's probably 13, 14 million that we are going to use to get, dustbins. Okay, how do we go about that? You will go and tell your little brother, or you go and establish a company in the name of your brother so that you can come and give that contract to your brother. Corruption na tambira wala nyom rohilo. Yo nyo hamantene yo jigen yo nga wara, yerem jigen yo nga wara am yermande si Gambia ni yo nga wara xol ñi lu ñoy sonno si deka bobu non. But you want to become the mastermind of corruption and corrupt practices in our government. I told baro e koteng. Ana yang kuba dawo den talata wodo nala. okodo ke buga faniafo okodo ke buga mola fen sunya. He doesn't steal and he doesn't lie, so he's a credible person to vote for. And then he has the interest of West Coast region. I think the people of West Coast, we need to look into some matters that we need to have a president too. Because I samba boy you didn't neka fini dinyu jite fini na sacha alele rewmi. Imagine taking our lands in prime locations, sharing them among ministers. Ngeen nek deka bi non ngeen koy doxale. Look at the depreciation rate of the Gambian dollar. Look at how you know the price of common goods are in the Gambia. Look at cement at this moment. Cement you can have that 500 or 600, 700 to buy it. You cannot even have it. That you have to go give all your money and then wait to be called to have cement in the Gambia. This is the level of backwardness your government has brought us. But he doesn't even know what is going on in government and you want to continue to be president. How can you not even have sympathy on the people that you don't know and you cannot do it and you got to leave? 10 years woman kanya ko hani fayte continue simply because yen sacha aleli rew mi rek ngeen fa nekké ngeen fogné lolu rek ngeen fa wara continue lolu motax ngeen rey police nak buga tumal UDP ngeen xamné lolu da ngeen ci fil ngeen buga ko tek Ousseynou Bodiang do fi dox aduna bi yeb xamna ko nak ñun wax nañ né bu dé xex la dañoy xex ba fu mu jéxé albalo man firentit ani na computer na telephone fada bi sida telephone doli ñinna dunya be wala ñama kon the military witnesses are liars and the CDS know very well that they were lying and of course the CDS enabled that whole criminal enterprise. Because how can the CDS, the police, write to the office of the CDS for a ballistic examination and the military not knowing anything about this case came out to say that only 3 bullets came out of that gun. But of course 3 other military witnesses one would come and say, oh, 5 shots he made in the air. Another would say about 6 shots he made in the air. But of course one would say he wore a haftan. Another would say, oh yeah, he wore a yellow t-shirt. But you cannot even tell who the person is because it was dark. It was dark, but you can see him killing people. And of course you can start following him and then you know that he was shooting at you. Façon fen yo même xalé bu ndango ko waduna xamné yow da ngay dul. Why yen ngeen sol ñun suñ uniform as our Gambian military and be lying to the population like that? You people should be fired. Why lena na ngeen xam go? Man sa killing jamane bu ka dunia bang. Adam Barola Masakunda Banala Masakunda Kotambena Latol Mimbe Nara to testify in this case. We will prosecute you and put you in prison because you are all fabricators and collaborators in this in making sure that this heinous crime was committed by the regime. Kon yen lolen mona ñom lolen ñu mëna wax sankare dama mol man sele ko ka ko molle ko da bala duwate balete wandi balle sorom min ya lon ko bulu medu sim medu ni mol yo ke da bala obe diale del am diamo man da diala de anda man da ñi ñala de tilimbalia la ka bang batari am ba Gambia batari ala badanna. You cannot continue to respect people and treat them with utmost decorum when they treat you like you are an idiot, you don't know what is happening. To actually go and then say, what, this case is not coming up until after 3 months. What nonsense is that? But this is the same judge who Batambedo played with and of course made him unfreeze some assets so that they can go and sell it and then so that his girlfriend can make a lot of money and then he will turn around and go and marry her and make it look like, oh no, how much is that? Withdraws an endorsement from that person and you have somebody telling us that no, the government should not do that. The government should not just do that. The government should incarcerate Batambedo and put him in prison. I really jarendare mini tafal to nyala bella bana tol min dara ya jamal bagasul mon ali be wafum ali be sunya nyoko do matla dol bi jal kila wala ka momal balle fa be la ya jamal matla kay da ko mo falat. And some of you will buy some of those cars and tell people that, oh no, I bought them for how do they even call it, for closure. Imagine, it's just like Ousseynou Bodiang coming out of jail and said he's going to buy, a mattress from DIG so for closer. What nonsense is that? I DIG so la buka malwa mansila ite dingol mun tol fulangol ite ka si ko ka wulia la Ousseynou Bodiang nakang fo ki ite forolon di kiti bon ite mam malwa mansila, you still wear uniform and go and sit in the police headquarters. Every police officer will be looking at you and saying, look at this motherfucking liar. Wala mutonyati yow rusulo yow xamulo dara loy xalat yow nga dem di fenal ay domi jambour ay domi gor ñoo xamantene defuñ la dara rusulo ragalulo yow and then you pretend to be a believer in God. You people don't believe in nothing. Ay samba boy ngeen ay sacca kat ngeen ay ay sacca alere rew mi ay reyukati nit ngeen Because these young people who left their houses to come and work for the police force out of nothing, and then now it did not work. You had to be called to come to court and be questioned, and you start saying, I don't know, I don't remember. When did you have dementia? When you were talking about your codes, a bit funny, I can say, you are asked about the codes, you cannot even produce them. And you are telling people that, everything was based on verbal intelligence. Let me tell you one thing about intelligence again. When an incident like that happened, and you do not know at the point of the incident who committed the crime, at that period, whatever information you are seeking would be considered intelligence. That is information seeking and gathering. At that point in time, those are intels. But whereas you actually captured Usainu Bojang and brought him under your custody, after that, any information you bring out should be facts and evidence, and not intelligence. Yen Bolen don't have sent press conference, intelligence was outdated. Whatever that needed to come out would be evidence. You cannot call that intelligence in court, because the court knows what intelligence is, and then the court knows what facts are. Because when you already captured Usainu Bojang that he is the killer, and then you are actually going to prosecute him, you would have been investigating him. And during that investigation, whatever you come out with will not be an intel. It will be like classified information of facts. But you people could not present any facts to the Gambians, but all you presented was your lies and fabricated script that you masterminded and killed the cops to frame the United Democratic Party. And then you had the audacity and the guts shamelessly to tell people that, oh yeah, he said he acquired the weapon from a long time and he was with this weapon at the court case in Banjul, trying to taint Yankuba Dabo, somebody who is doing very well for the people of the West Coast region. Go and hold, the Nawek poll. I don't care about what you people think. More so you little surrogates of the NPP. Mandamalan Fale. Hey, Mbala Firim or Albaro Manferi Mode Jandi. Also Olonje. Bala firingo mobile wono alta mulla mudala batara ya kono ali wol sorong alko mota fem fala nanne adunta jabota jan. Who is going to support a regime that is busy killing and of course jailing people's innocent brothers and sisters, and you expect them to be quiet about it? My Lena, I know Hussein might stay a little longer in prison, but I know the dude is pleased that he is not abandoned by his community. When I say community, I don't mean the whole community, because that community is what it is. But that folks still out there who would leave everything they got to do to make sure that he gets justice. And that is a commitment we will take, and then we will follow to the letter. Sometimes you're far away, and that's how people would think, maybe because you're far away. That would actually solve everything. As if you are going to screw us. I am not one person to be screwed. Ask people who know me better. I samba boy di talk di jima jaay na comme yeen da ngeen am fit, yeen amulen fit de, yeen ay tapet ngeen. Tapet moy rey doomi jambur ba pare di fen. Gis nga ko am fit, loy def rek da nga koy ñame, and then you assume the full responsibility for it. And I saw some people sending me messages. Oh yeah, we saw you wishing this General Musa Savage happy birthday. Why more fi waxone yeah jameni ak ni am nga yeen dengan intelligent, lolu moy sen problem. And because you deal with things with emotions and not facts, and you don't really reason. One thing I would say, if I was General Savage, I wouldn't actually grant that interview, because you are a military general. And while it was a transition period, and that transition period, like somebody lost election and probably said he did not lose and trying to make life difficult. If somebody calls you on whatever on a TV, I'm not sure if you know that they were putting you on a TV spot, but if they did put you on a TV spot without you being aware, nobody should fault you. But whereas you are aware that this is what they're actually doing, and they're asking you about loyalty, whatever, when a man who actually lost power, whom we know how powerful he is still in the country and still in charge, and they wanted you to say what you are loyal to the incoming government when this person did not even transfer power yet. Only a dumb military man will do that, and what you did was the best thing to do at that time. That does not mean that you actually owe your loyalty to Yaya Jammeh. You owe your loyalty to the Gambia, which most of us can attest and have proof that you are basically somebody who loved that country beyond any of these idiots who will talk shit about you, including Masane Kinte, who basically came, cowardly to the commission with a doctored voice. Ken ragalulen fi. I'm not even a soldier. Why Masane yo wa kenen ak kenen lolen gom lolen mun ken amu dara lolen mun nit munut fi. waaye dëkk boo xamante ne doo leen ko di doxal si digga albuki miratol yamana komino o buku nek mañade o kun tekir mo ni tay ni minade da kun kono do wala mo toñati dunya bu ko tamo ñama. In life you got to reason, you got to calculate, and you got to know where to place your leg at every given circumstances. And that was the best perfect thing that some of them could have done. Ale mi ke deputy CDS ni ku ko tangol ti jang ñom seen ñaa ñu daw dem Sénégal nak ñoy soldat buy daw ya jame nana duma waje ngeen di daw wala ni daw soldat day daw wala na yal be dis amal be siri ñanal man kane buke la buketi an uniform o fangal buka so nan combat al buka dinu wala recruiter la juma la ron fan dry raso na seke lo al ko wala ma. But let's give a comparative analysis here. There was this young man in the military who sat and he was kind of talking to the business community, pleading with them, minti da madama $5 or whatever, ala domandamang al business or al price or data. You fired him for telling that businesses are actually charging too much. They probably pleading with them to reduce prices because Gambian salaries cannot afford nothing. You fired him from the army. But how about the CDS sitting and having old soldiers telling him that we don't have uniform and we don't have combats and we are suffering? Why didn't you fire all those soldiers? Because amulen sense. That is how disgusting the military establishment in the Gambia has been under this regime. And this is a free or adult. It's not everybody. We are talking about leaderships. Police or welcome more file like then they use the military to go and do the ballistic examination to come and cover the lies. Some of your military camps don't even have running water. You are trying to cover up all the nonsense for this government. Look, when they came with that ballistic examination, tell them you don't know, or you give them the facts. But then lying to the teeth and trying to make it look like you're covering up for the government when it is known to even the lowest ranking soldier in the army that, of course, this is masterminded by the regime. You don't need to be a soldier to know that. I'm not a soldier, but I know that's exactly what happened. Because we can connect dots and we can tell what is possible and what is not. Because there is no way that a soldier without a gun can hear bullets firing and then he start running after the gunman. Even the dumbest civilian will not do that. So what will be more funniality, and that is why Sankare, DIG Soning, Abu Bakar Jangi were brought to the court, and of course your videos were played for you to listen to yourself and of course be asked questions. Nimmalo battle do tenato fada selam bara mummal balol la malti. Tamanda sela lalat amul dara lo finit diragal. Amul dara lo len xam lu ñi xamul. Amul dara lo len mun lu ñi munut. Yaga dégg rek mooy mujjee comme nuñ ko waxee rek ay tapet dëkkuñu fii comme ni ka kee waaya ñaame ka malle ko kuudool tujee doron ba nim bala firingo nim batara ya doron no mo bela so keno woto masakunda buka tama nim batara ya alba batara ya la tula jee alna la National Assembly belom kasi kalwal dada ka ko nim mol yatol ni ngatol bugol sorana, and now you are prosecuting a woman for actually saying she insulted the president. Mane nal mala fi moy fem falmal mo la banko la fem la bulal ta si yalla kordal ko na la ajibe fu mo bina la jere kuma falma bala ka mo la banko talal dam malte ma ka mo la nafulo be sunya al sun suluto la ko moto fol al be palasul talal ba dilal dingol na la musolda al ko molta fem fola wor. You know what they do now in civil service? That is what I call civil service barter trade. Ki dafa nek director ci institution bi ni mu call benen director bi fele ne la jelal suma dom ma jël sa dom i camera swap deals barter trade dara sen dom yi xamul tous saram dem xamuñ ko en ngeen ne noonu ngeen ay doxalee suñu réew mi loolu moo tax réew mi mu ngi taxaw demut fen coono mu ngi gën a yokk, poverty is increasing, inequality is increasing, the poor is getting poorer, and of course the little few elites who basically know how to manipulate the system are actually doing better, and of course predominantly the main sponsors of the regime. Loolu moo tax nga kewa madi bojang tentu kewa madi ñenna ko moom mvananda ke la patito ha ndolla tetel la ibote ko nyami woyon kontan baki mo kurungol la midi tapale la midi mo tilimbalo la midi mo falal la midi yow ke ku baki ha alko mo bayam kale mo nyini mo be bo adam baro nala masakunda to kadu masakunda kenden tengi mantra ku kende ke kangam biankoliye momi yalon ko mol mi ya kata e kutu kata la kay ko bekete pour que te manse ani te muru ita kam mol fa pour ko tumi so ni te ni mo ko den ko te mo ken dol te den kay o mari nyanta fon jibe kula de atol man kende ya hando mon den kende ya talla ko do so what atol mo falla let and then you got to be treated like that. Back then I saw some little idiots who would say, oh yeah, you're talking too much about who killed the cops, you know, you want me to give you the cops numbers. And I've seen people back then, anytime Kex post about this case, they will but simply because they live somewhere else and they of course support the regime, they could lie. Now all of them, you don't even hear anything from them. And then, you know, among the is both government and opposition. Look at it. You know, some of these brutal facts, we got to say them. Look at the local government commission. Talibite o mere no membela do ko la ibade wonyi imala yum contract si fala di wala minne silo ni sartol manta o famo tapale yani bandiyalat. Arambaro ete o kay ite ke la niece and nephews yol samba jiare nun la ko dangol de la man sakunda police ol falo mo la na flo sunya la kadiata la nyame e kam mo la banko ta ke fon toke je ko del tam ela o minister of former minister of tourism adi mota o samba jiti boda ko ha Gambia no lo mati. So what I'm saying, National Assembly wale mola dulal taye moto le sangi fangole nyim moto bab moto garawri mbal e ka clothing allowance di fangola ni muronde ko ka funding kele ko wala mu cockroach soldati e ko lu wala da pour ni moye tol neng e de sorom bara ni tole mol neng kuta kala woto. So this is not even animal farm. This is like, you know, subjugating our people. This is kind of pinning our people and of course forcing them to accept a norm. Abukolo ko yele ni so mi muta efem ko dunda anu ko ne ka sabadiate dawda anda ta fem fono la tabala nola. Atole Gambiano muta wolte wala Gambiano nyanta atole bayla masakundale. Those in the National Assembly and as well those in the central government, as in, you know, the executive and you know, the judiciary wanta fem fono la wala kudo. Katu George Sifale board la wala fuda dunia fengo beti. Tilimbali ya mimboto one na manso do dunia dula wala atina okumba siyan kesa mala fito nya tamandla je. Bare mol nya balale sabe duma simbe duma. Yaga dega rek moy mujje. En ñi ngeen buga doxale suñu rew mi. Ndolo man tan de. And then we are making sure that the whole world knows what is going on in the Gambia. And we are pleased that that is happening and everybody is telling us we are actually closely monitoring this case. Kon nolen munti pisil pasala beto nyara tamandila you those military witnesses afana ala Facebook ñol dili de ala ndewo ndala balo film dalde ndaka na la inbox la nga fay ko moro etel tara ñun la ko etam witness wala ita ñoo wulu buke but what exactly would yo boy yun tawini ñi ngo kidi table fen table sal ju fara to la ñu sojare nim furu ngolo akara wul ya sifa bela mol kan for nothing imam mali man sila you know e kana lo e ka foko you know half time la sol wala num to that 3/4 la sol you cannot even tell people what happened. And then in real time, you know, incident response ni incident no kada jam the first responders when they arrive they are supposed to basically, you know, secure the area. Now when they secure the area, this is the area where these people die, right? They need to take a lot of photos and make sure that they gather all of those evidence. Do you know that there is no photo evidential record that was actually submitted to the courts? Karata folo ko woli o Musa bo be bunay be fahan yelo mambot. Atolo mo natal. Almurun dal ko combat boot because you had people, some people say he wore a combat boot and then dolba fala haftano lo don. You had the combat boot dorong al buku ne ko al tole mal al nyame mbalolu al tara dorong al tara wala su kon ali akodo mala combat boot o jeje do ali o cikal ko wala dum atole wala sinno tara wala bara wo sinno ni nan natalo fon ta tolo bula tolo nyaw wulo lebe keri Gambia masakunda wuli yala tambira wala yo adam baro ñu fen yo you ni yep yo yaangi tok yaang le nay xol nangulo la na daha nangulo la na prosecute for giving false information to the public, but you give them more position and power and authority in our country. That means you are complicit in the killing of the cops because you know why you people had to kill the cops. Someday, somehow, you will be accountable to the killing of the cops. Your government will be accountable. Emusu wamandara ni mansa kunda la pala suda na dara lockdown ol doldo ko be fen ko la wala ni o jibe camera ko But fast forward, what were we able to tell you? That the military cannot in any way, without any weapon whatsoever, start pursuing a gunman who has a gun and can kill them. The best thing you could do is to take shelter and make calls, which they did not do. And none of them could say that I was, when that incident was happening and then you had that whatever battle shock and all of that, but none of you made any calls to anybody to inform them for any quick reaction force, for any, QRF response. None of that happened. So if you tell this to an ordinary military instructor, he will tell you, "Wulialo mutonyanteng tonya tanolamati, oto alman tonya fo aliye fani, aliye wuliala la useno bojanka wala naliala telefono format." But the British lady would testify in court in October. And of course, Mama Jabila audio atolo minko affiliate atolo man sakunda mole mini alonko police all fangol there transcribed. You see, the good thing about this case is that the police themselves within the police force know that their leadership killed the cops because they were involved in investigating this matter and they can tell what the facts are. Because they kind of transcribe this particular audio and they know everything that is in the audio, but their own leaders turn around to say that the audio is lost, and that is the lies they told in court. But I have the audio, all the people within have the audio, and then we are submitting this audio to the court, hopefully, and then Mama will be called and Usenu Bojang will be called, where Usenu will clarify that, yes, this is my voice, and I was speaking to Mama and Alfuseni Daddy, and Mama will have no whatsoever to deny it, and then it will be established as a fact, and there is no part of that audio where Usainu talked about killing the cops. And this is the specific audio you people said was an incriminating audio, putting DIG's lies all aside. For the Gambia Masakunda, Alto Bota Wuliani, Fania Foni Mo Falale. So but it's to make sure that we keep this conversation alive, because so long this case is not coming up until 3 months, we will make sure that every other time we are here to continue this conversation, and we will pick from every angle of their witnesses and of course the chronology of incidents, and pick every portion to tell you how all of those things are fabricated, script and lies and deceit by the government. So what man sakunda tan tolo bulu sung sulu to leben tolo bulu mo jawolo mo falalo ni mo kurungol ni tapale leben tolo man sakunda, and they will do anything and everything to retain a government like that. And that is why Noblen Jaral warna nyo Jaral nyo the opposition and whosoever, man, I consider myself an opposition to this disgusting regime, because if it can kill 2 police officers and of course incarcerate a brother whom we know has no hand in it and is not a rebel, then that regime is none that deserves support from any conscious, reasonable Gambian. Well, sometimes when I see some of my friends, they will be like, "Oh no, but it's lesser evil." What is lesser evil? Who is evil and who is lesser evil? The biggest of all evil is somebody who can kill you, because the height of evil is to kill you. After what else can you do? Nothing. Wala nang komninga molje ke fon silandi sala moro. Sa lungo mota balula. Bara balulu fana mota sala de. Woda fombenga kamben no nyimma sa kundanga wulinge kelelon fay bojang kadu mola masa mujamani manyan tambila sanjetana. Stop telling me other people who are going to do this, are going to do that. Those are just conspiracy theories of evil in your own minds and hearts. 2026, this government needs to be on its knees, because it's not a good government. It's a government built on lies and deceit. People who are so wicked to Gambians, me along ka jeki kamburo ke dala standing fulade nindo ka bakala dala standing ka raw fon arrest onyon jowiya be kidding wanne musoli la bungol lo fay pare raw le taw ka raw la bungol boy fenten al bal nal faltante wala dulal mint kulu bal yala tambi dawal kulu bal yani fallon bal yala tambi dawal albe wandi bal toral al ko moto fala ni moli fa atol be raw la soron atol bu kam malu wayi atol bu kam malu mal bal ya man tambi wala atole moneka Gambia na manga ka fengol gena dala fa ka Gambian ko tora. You only go to government to profit from government, because you do nothing for the ordinary Gambian. Kon waxtu jotna pour mobe wulinu nga funding kele sembentu yalung nga mobe wul ka tan ni ko nyum sakunda 2026 albe bondi la nyimbanko kanjane mo jamane manyan tambila sanje tan na nyimbanko ka Kavoko constitution, no constitution. Atole wultal ko mole be constitution or deliver la mole. If you fail to deliver it, there is nothing somebody is going to tell us about constitutionality or whatever. The nonsense has got to end. You cannot kill people and continue to be leading our country. You got to go. We look for people who care about the plight of the Gambians, not these disgusting idiots who only look for position and money. So ninga minister dolje wala kono ila ko kambala fare. Gis nga doomi adama num bon amal lo gom. Amal gom andi lata min na dem si ba jeex man nak leena xam ngeen ko di alla minister linteng alla ambassador linteng mo ko tenenteng ñoo lonku nda kon to ñene ngati je amut ay tapet rag de ko ñu fi way yow ñun dañ am ku ñoy ragal si yeen pour lan ngeen mëna def ni molu kam malal lay kal xoromay kal buñal kal to xoromo ni buña mo ne le kam mim bekela wala bekela bala la masakunda mo fala masakunda dal la masakunda tine nyanta bannale oto Gambian ko le be nyanta be na muruna be na kafunyo kan kaje ko nyima masakunda tilimbalo e boje masakunda na membe constitution kuto fela na Gambia masakunda na mi yalon ka Gambia no hatila masakunda na mi yalon ko itanna fen su nyala ndu tawuliya folanye. So it's important that we put our differences aside and come together to ensure that this regime collapses at the end of 2026. For the body ngal tentu ngal jayi, Usenu Bojang Kalialo Nyaming is still in prison, and he has been in prison for the last almost 1 year, 10 months. And all lactating system here along the dimbal be yundum, the nimberang babul, itanya karamodo kolea, the senior the suokon kolea. Ini nyongole jibe nyak kolea pentem foye wulian in tumiro min lay bani in a barinka atara to nyate je e wanne mon la dimbayale betinya pentem foye to la sulo ni la foka sima sakunda kaje ko ye wulian in tapale yala usen dabo nala UDP kam pour e be wala ban la nyame pour to letu continuer la masakunda because ya jalo ko la tinela beje so jonga nala tine tem hani mo fa jarta nyama sakunda do e wala woto Gambian ko ala nyanta wulila kaje ko nyama sakunda jamano e bam kadu masakunda kendente mo kendelte je so ngola soro to basically put it forward so Uzo just as it is, young man, we love you and we will defend you, and we know you're not a criminal, we know you're not a rebel, we grew up in the hood, so we know what time it is, so you gotta stay strong, man. Next 3 months we're back in court, and then you know what it is. You came to court, you were not panicking, you spoke the fact, and of course you did so to the best of your ability. Many yalong ko ituli amana sembole bebul ala be tol lakam maluta ila masakunda maluta dunia be yalong ko ila masakunda malutali, that the international community could write us letters to say that we commend you for all the efforts you people are doing, and then we are paying close attention to this case. So take pride in that, because you're nothing like a mother. You would never do that. But they are self-protectionists. Some of us have nothing to lose and we have nothing to protect. Digante nitak diga. Why nga ñaka lip diga mu taxaw mo gën nga am lip diga taxawut fekk ay fen ak reyante rek ay dox ci suñu dika. Wala du fi dox. Wala badi ngol ngal tentu ngal jay is almost getting to 5 p.m. And didn't come off and go to daycare, But Allah barakangal tentungal jay, man. Till another time. These conversations are going to be continued. We will not let Usenu Bojang, rot in jail for the next 3 months when nothing is going to be shared about this case, so that it can die down here and there. We will continue this conversation to communicate to Gambians. Pur Gambian koli along ko nyum masakunda membe je mo fala masakunda long. Bi Usenu Bojang non kunun ko be police la fa jumala long sini mo jumalti, because aj be jarla nyini ko bella puri to letu je ko elo minister furmo e min foko na sulata yelo lebe yelo bonnale ngo na sulata mi ngomi nan dol fanam bulumbe wala kala batara yabe dannale ala yalo batara yabe dannale odo badi ngol ngal tentu ngal je.
I don't want to expose, because I'm not that kind of, because they need more audio kinye.
So puru
ni more audio kinye mbukala fi
bari aman honorable.
I don't know where. Okay. Mbe audio dol play la Musa Susso na la mola sal tulo loitra. Kaje ko nyil mu mollati men yalon ko very selfish.
Just once one group of people wole la fiko legacy be put wole la fiko itala legacy tinya wanyama amanjara rana.
Malo fali ka bo.
Ferem. To Momo Sabal manje mo kendo de tom Momo Sabal nyam mo jawo kalimba ya ulumaje Momo Sabal
Musa Susso na la mollo munyinti
mo la fo program call ni
listen to them biri mo Sabal tata so
because it bango be kapo bango kan bantala be kapo Gambia lombang kata banta mo be Musa Susso so funding ke o dinamo lo musolo kelu alfalo mo be Musa Susso. So, just, once one group of people, wale lafiko legacy be, wale lafiko itala legacy tinya wanyama, amanjara ranak, amanjara ferem. To Momo Sabal Manjamo Kendo de Tom, Momo Sabal Yamo, Kalimba Ulumaje, Momo Sabal.
For those of you who may not understand your malebe diamuka, Musa Susso la mollo munilti. Brimword Sabal, Ninketani last Ramadan, after the Ramadan. Majang ko Samu Sanyol, yes, Mr. Yafa, Bilal Nye Kondo. So, they're not coming, many more understand. Musa Susso me yalonga nonsense I video bondit abe mol kilikan coming kana NPP ka because of they give him executive position. Janno be kela ngama nyi audio le findita Adam Baro nyi le moy then Adam Baro atita because they were pushing Musa Susso to build his political party. So into Labangoni, we have a very wicked citizen in that country. Many aloko Gambia development code they will that hand wo mumoto. Will bedula le nyinen kay be dame mutale si baluno je nyamen will fane yela group police to Musa Susso is operating like this. And then the sad thing about these people, wala muko Gambia diul le fanan be no ma men fanan kay la nyin ideology ta because it fanan ka falen diul le ci ka kadi wo molla. Just listening to their audios.
Mola from Bragan call
à la partager e ka hoñade à la partager
manu football jibe la asma la majo yana daga football jibe ni na funo ko tatele funo kono en so koda because mbuka ta banda na tele tinyanda so ndedun tele ko mo bunya na bage so nga ajibe na laptop ko no rande na funo so bimba ajibe na funo ko modole en ko America imaje bente am worldwide travel on toss ni mera diamola more than 1 hour plus now diamola. Because nene advertisement okay no and nene event of mintambira not drinks all atele oljo atele o sponsor so now what dia mola no meta ka jagon dunda mo sabala ko ka jagon because I cover do malo ma cause malo go for Ghana bang so wo ka mo sapa jiaje something like that nye mo sabala ko mo fanye nga go ndafana the same thing nga go ndafana president no yen na letter do da approve pro ngataje
okay, these are the people surrounding Musa Susso. Alkalum albalo neka operate nyame. These are the mafias many and yalo ninkale ko NPP mo mafia ka folete. These are the people many yalo ko business all lebebul. Anyway, it will be interest to la dawda. Eka fwe nyini wolela. Eka we nyini wolela. Pour kaje ko it will be business opportunities to the dati Gambia problem kutode. Nil Gambia betaka Gambia titaka itella haji tejede. Nil mumo leti many aloko they are only after their business interests. Ila transactionally ila family lamansa kunda kono ni me sort of drop they will back up. So barika baro taleka baro I think most of the NPP supporters don't this is secret audio. Actually before I play because I was so upset. In audio metambulle because I'm not that type of person, trying to expose the people. But it is for that time when the time na banko we need, we need to rescue our country from these selfish individuals.
Because another diamu animal encounter, tomorrow ni roko bokala NPP or yala NPP kadri so ni hani 20,000 so ya katalo because it only NPP abo barura but because ni NPP data fo baruka baru mandalula NPP order winner NPP olonde ferem because sidinya woni lo grupo sate beliko ijibini tata tamol fona ibuka tereja sako sidinya ara tamol molba nenna pleno kono molba nenna ya podo do ba attaque ba kulkela sako wol ko don lore kana minel ton mol kala tan mol la wallahi
NPP ko la mu yiti de
okay ede dunda dawda de ndol fona boldo anana dat fona o fona ko nyoko Musa Susso kay wodunda dawda ndol fona baduna woldo wallahi banya amadi da kuma yara banya yin fongo fuka 3 million plus aba fuka la left nga amadi da duga ya fongo dandi Guy for that do got never render the MPP coup for coming MPP for support, you know.
Honorable, I will in Yamadronte or for Seode. There in the Ambula Nyo Konokan into for Seode. Mulu Naseo Kalafa, but Bila for a Naseo Lafata Katabilum Bella. Ha, Bila Naseo Lafata Katabilum Bella. Halmadu Hanmarin, Niko Ke Badi Batene. One of the Contane telephone on Contan. Imbe Minka for Tentifa, Kaboka for telephone. Wallahi. Bari ni ala nala kila te mga sewo min sodo ila kuoto bi nen ko ma sodo kunu adam do yatale kendum bota min fola ngol fo nun kunu ko ma fa wala kende abuka nino andum kamol wo ma koy ma bilen bo sen kanna man pare ko fo ndala folo kamol ma koy wo be dunia wo kumo ba dunia Gambia no be le bulo kono kalo mobe kamobe ma koy ila dewokan wo kuma ba Gambia no bele bulokon wo de wo saharen defan kunde mi kanyeke lundo ni hakilo ba
Musa Susso, let me just for those of you who just joins now, Musa Susso on la secret audio longindi. Musa Susso men me alon ko bi abe NPP kono. Nim audio ma mede. But ngamera bring NPP call la executive for dol sobita nyim kola. You see these people, Musa Susso na la kafomol. Musa Susso men be NPP call ko yakela executive for kono. I have these audios. But janni be play la, I take the order from the person. Meye Kenya now. Because I don't like, I have a lot of audios. But billahi, audio dolbeje, I don't even like to talk about them. Baro malo menka abatu. But niaje ngani audio niaje mbe play ka because Musa Susso saying I video le fundindi abe mol kilikala kordal kono comme barola kolta bol foke lafta comme Musa Susso nyul be nafiki amen hypocrisy selfishness be même play kana bankoka to destroy that country because of their personal interests ila audio le munyenti nyim audio ketale last Ramadan sunkaro men tambitating there no fond besila ngama majam ko nyul bela sen ko
be jam fami stinkama ni ma wuli be soronale yanyi kanga kumo Kenya besate eko ni he ha nyin kumanetal yemoto mbala ni tambeta nyola fo yindum police isita bide kumo Kenya besate inata tandina ko tonya ay be jam fami kono ni ma wuli be toralal
Musa Susso
la tonya tamani tonya mi alon ka bot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ma fanna e man tijibe man do jibe tonya min tamande ala nata ko dum badu be wot mita fon santanya na lola skene tanyina ta banda manyina wala nyim fana kamin foko yam mun ma ko KMC o mo demandi wala to mi ba ma bore ma wolo nin ko ba audio jam fandila panela tereng ete fon fen ke moli amante terende ko illa sa sole satele mi ya tinna ila ko mante tereng andu ila ko ba kala nyato talati ata doben abada ni ala sonda ngata ma sere minje aninga mi remember nun kunun ko gawati jamfo e nini sitambo fo len to fo audio to follow o fo to mba fo lale bara to follow audio to sign wami lafta min fo le wato ningo e haklo bulandi wala wallahi le ko mi nyato talti fo fawo bar ko mata wotije
so
ani amobe
come men audio you understand this is the time when they Musa Susso ya announce pour etel men fon be diam kante pour Musa Susso e la presidential candidate so but ila audio la fon bene be moyla ila nyilmu banku din kurum ballet these are the people men yalon ko be NPP kono Musa Susso la kafo mo le mu nyilti there are a lot of audios just listen
bamburam yalan kar ko atafarala la fi samala ha wallahu samiul alim ha o julo yesiti walla o julo fento kuntula abada hani fenkilento kuntula la fi samala ha wallahu samiul alim ha wallahi barka bake sewota bake baranga natalu fona nga fen fonaje nin ko nen ma sewo soto ila karola oto bi fana kilimu doleti abarka bake almale ni so sima bala ni jati kende aba je firum bala wanyanyo almale men ñu fel kanam bon ñoko say bara kata bang mole fundi ñokan kuma ba momo da kono dole ma fono isa fo mo be nyala ha baraka na audio la moyle ni la moy baake fanani hakilola sayni be hanyala fala bari mbading ma muso nyin sutan ko nyin afolola fo so sen defana be hanyala fala ndem manke politicien ti nene mbakata mitinoto bari wallahi ne parti lo warante lafata parti dole kan defana ni moldo futale male min ya lon kat ko be sembentu yandila anun kabolu ngala bekel politicien ota nun dunda kon fon counto ndika boje madame man boje lafta nyi dulande fala bari kadi amala la moy nay mbade ma bar muso malo jamalo muso mi bota diamola ten wol ben fana ngani yoto dukari ngedan ala kama na la kila ni danile ala kama na la kila ndi tata fala tolle ba fala pati wulin pati lo warante join pati klinka kana tudde de ring wo tampo te bala yaron harje ba bunda fulalto mo fon la harje la naso
no c'est ça jare nde muso this is not about this have nothing to do with the Keba Mad Boja. This is completely Musa Susso la grupo molo. Bre Musa Susso ning audio le ngani soto dan ning Keba Mad Boja nyul fon bera fen ko fenkela. This also the part of the NPP men yalo ko de il after Musa Susso ya la political party lo. This have nothing to do with Keba Mad la fenkol. These are the camp of Musa Susso. Bre Musa Susso ya feel ko he left it out. Adama Barona la mansa kunda. I'm sorry, call wale na fenko kundu. Sorry for that interruption. So, sisa jare nkame mfwe kwa nyimu Musa Susso la kafoleri. Many yalo ko they feel like Musa Susso adambaro ya bitrele. So, this audio keda ngama after the Ramadan.
Odobi jakara fangola bala. But dobi la harje la wulo fana akatarai fangola bala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa creation na kala pareta. Ko ite mu bansalti. Wode wo keta andiyo masiya keta. Barni la tela masiya fana la kon
Billahi la de la Gambiano ni ala. Alkiyama yalo ntel damba on fon pour jadin tel akito momo wala ki nan kamenda ni Gambia Alkiyama lo luna momo ye fanje Gambia la layno kono. Kiti jamal be kunna de ndel ning ala fon temon ning ala la kito fon damba that's a time. Amu akoko ala man sa ya fon sa fe Musa Susso kunna le.
tiniola wo be fangola bala. Wallahi wuli bang ya join party kilinka warere party lo. Nemba di muso mi diam da te lafte na la kumo di na fay nyoka na e diam anumba la fele do da mal min be diam kanten yam fundi di nyoka no fo dalilo ke tamine di nyimbar muso e mi vol lafto wol forano ne mi dinu ko fay ban ne mantaje bari ni e pati lo mbello la platform
ko be break kan
ni ba Gambia be tola wallahi do di alala wallahi do di lale. Wallahi fana jadi kenda tambur ba na jadi kenda.
Guys, are you really alkamoy fal bukamoy? Nal bukamoy den nyanta nyi stop la den ngamur nan ko deke because nga call le so no maybe wala kina fodu albamoy kana clearly nal bamoy ka clearly let me know it nal mantra moy kam fana let me know it because someone is telling me that I'm breaking. Okay, yeah, I'm okay.
Wada ka bila defana ngani mbar muzo sembentu yedile honorable funti ale min tambe bala ya di molla ale ngani min dire ya di molla ale balfa min dire ya lafa ya di molla kana to siren ngiti da siren da Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be konte bolal ete momin be kadiamu te batnga audio kanya mune man fenke nyulu be alal ka mulu diamundi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tam sondo moti mol ka nyim be fote nga seno ga ale bulado ko min e balanta kala wuli yake fundi yake ale sasi nyinde la pour yemol mobilisation mol ga clienti e do ko ke banko e mbota mine fola lasi ko ila betia di la ngane senea sabi da mabuka fu kambe bele kafo tilibi ka fu la malalo funti ba funti laftar la clean fole ningo fo rolu wobe wakil dale funti la kate ninga nyoje ba o ya kataban tol damba ngasi nyenta min fola ngafo nyim ka fo ko ilafta parti lo warante lafta joine parti do ko kana boyte da kono ila sopoda sola nyenta bollo le da kono andumte mba pare ne bi ani sama mbe diamule dunya dawo de funti de je diamo de mbe diamulan diamo mano baramba dilal man ka fola fit soto baramba soto la mba dilal di tella inshallah wallahi do di ala wallahi do dilal funti honorable kana to sire ala bula do ko min yake assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah yalo dolbu ena ko do ko rema nyina ko dolbu ena ko len ko bala dolbu kulolo marako dal to wala kay dal to wala kullo do ko wala ke so dal to wala tulante bulan say jalba ko lo foni fekra di jalba ko lo foni ko fega ko ena ko do mo kalon la bin kamara ako ena ko do mo kalon la bin ko tenga ko ito mo la buku ane usa what problem di what problem di abak kada da wala sura tan mulu de jama o de se dia wala mo apostol kada da ro ni sano gosuo asa falinya kaira la dunia ne lakira
yes Madina good morning
ko to mo to mura akaw ko to bakel bitilo bi akaw ko to bak e programme min ko dabba log baram subita ko be kula kunna ko min la diabla la banque o min kinyana ngemin moy fo pati lolo fo be kafla bola bakata musunno ngam ya kala ako ya kana fefet akata fefet me kafle mala ngam moy je so nga
okay yaje nyile be Gambia batandire ni mosi fan comme ya fil ko Birim Musa Susso be commissioner yala West Coast ngama yake for deputy governor le tiba for governor lamba West Coast after Adam Baronata bondi je poteke so Musa Susso feel like a mental position to position table koteke so all what he can do wolum ko kala mul kafnyoma ka Adam Baro bully ka NPP bully wolum to form their own political parties so they are not even care about whether Musa Susso win or not e kam fo Musa Susso wala mo ila parti lo wala ita kaf parti o doma bar ni be kaf la parti o fanam made ini nyanta ko endila ko ite ni wo parti o nyin gagneta ate fana nyanta high position le dila Musa Susso la comme itel fana na do mo robe sono yala nyamen this is how Gambians operate
usa bala yalo dolbu ena ko do ko rema nyina ko dolbu ena ko aso biko something is in the making but the financial advice me bindi la ni be moyla yalon kawo foyle ngawo traile ngaminno bo kendoro bet ita usa be kende da marako goto wala sabu ngi ko bande fonda sokoro jang i kontonto jang ide ngi toba Musa kachata yo barbutum imanna ko nyin posu isa bojang ita fo la jankata duwaji nol isa bojang ita fo la hajo do da jang ngawlo wala kato manyam fakato is just less than 30 minutes behind kato again mbasen kanne ko take lafta ngindela nyatili itomala fadinkewlum ala ya subaki so minna ma waso kan man hadume kan ma waso kan man amma warakan ni baba ni dodoke ya kala mutale bi kabin fo ni banko kanjam bi bo fole bi ni temo ite mun na molati ndemo makaba toje banko ko be mo ray Musa ya tije ma ji jambi wala bilata I don't want to mention names mala bala bar mom makaba tije bi tilo mi ya lon ko abata ni Musa no makato aban soto jang Gambia billahi wallahi tallahi karba kabati follow wala ñu president Barrow font that is the highest bakamo bankoka ñindino bi ala jikita la bake president Barrow par funding ke ay mi banki ala koto awarta ba audio lo ñinte de nge kolle mesoto audio lo ñinte so ntawul fono la audio kono bare jikita la baka ndaka ku jamala
ñefe tol be jane de
ngoro wala Gambia ko
yalo new audio they don't expect these audios will come out They will be surprised who brought these audios out. Musa Susso la grupo mollo mungint. And they will be shocked. Jomale audio not because this was in their executives. Ila jamfa executive.
Unai jakal tayin no maba folele Musa billahi kalta. Ite makavati lo banko kan. Usendabo the same ni Musa ada anaka jonjele. Ibekala kumola boy do bara akabe foye etelle bekala kumo wara ka moyle ka tawle. Esa fal ni Musa abeka boje. Na be esa fal bijang amanta ma bijang. Di maskilin flanja abaji Musa ya. Abe benda kilo tabela subo fa dakat ba abla bodo ko na sambaye ay ta na ko to. Sunday na bija amanta ma na kilo fiskilin sawo de flanja bitala bu Musa noma. Esa fal yakala muta wo mota Gambia jang min yalon ko be banko jini ke karaje Musa do batije to jang
moro la moro
hani to jang so wala sabu ko fet noto alliance jele be bist kataji boklo barakara foyelde abeke no ko nyinde barante malo mu dan ne be mol ko ko bakaw may Musa so be ngomin to be advice la ni be moyla kana duga ko no man tajum to ma ya ko programme to abulo nae bi foye woke Musa ji bako ta falen ne
ila ta moro le fona ka tambe alala
bako falen 2026 inshallah alla sembo kan ni manko falen ni bako ta falen so itoma ngasilo ele le kalka.
And then imagine the same people today will be like any Musa Susso tada muru baroka because of Adama Baro Musa Susso executive. But one thing, NPP Mamelo, what I can cover NPP, you don't have loyalty supporters. You only have the interested people. Many aloko they want to enrich themselves through politics, but they are not genuine supporters and they are not genuine NPP sympathizers. They are only in NPP. But all NPP kono le pruke fan nafa yani la sorandin men yalon ko wolle betel fasaka. Atel fuaro musol men yalon kal katajil noma. Atel funding kewul men yalon ko ibra fen diala na manke football jastilet. Alla live be destroy ke balla banko tinyaka. Ni mosi fal bi imaje baro ya dundi NPP la executive holko. But Baro don't even know these audios. And this happened before Musa Susso dunda executive holko. You should ask yourself, Musa Susso was not NPP supporter. Musa Susso was NPP. And why suddenly Adam Barrow Musa Susso do the executive follow? By what? So let's continue listening to them.
Bare lafta ginne ina fata do bande slack to do bande. Bare ika duwa nyini kata mo kendol no mata yin fonde ke no mata mo mata defend e media la ko nyolo e media la ko mata
moral advertise
ginne mo dara e media la ako nyolo mo detati wala na ko ba woso aka ban sap ban aban wala ka ban hadume aka abamin ko note batino koyma lew fonde ko ala wala diala akoy ma lew pesa baro ko de I will be outlined hana la mula foil bitamu de bita sai te ala motije ala momoro da ka kiya kan pesa baro ko momo ki atakan ay ta dibe la bekere itel ma foy dron
okay ninko president Baro la mul men be kata moro nyiya because esajo la mafo moria man soto I believe moria la. But coming in Jubero Kari Bekela Yina Sama, Yina Bekela Sama, I am not fan of it. Ma farmer sort of Adamadu Nima Mele Malo Bukafo Konin. But I am not fan of it. Well, I can have Moria Kujan and Bukam from involved because I them tell them in Awam Alat. Moral for another Alala, moral la different Albegel, moral is Yeduan. I have no problem with that. But coming Kokamoro Sandy Alanoto Nimoro Koning Ala. Ala menke adama dum ala dam banna kullo ala lela barako adama barola morol men kata adama barola mol men kata aba ko adam baro fon kata jele yala ko ba usen fon kata ja ko esa fa la jolbe mama kande mol to moy malo jom Musa jom ala mo nyinde ta ko Musa nyinde buto men ka mor yak ako Adam Baro la morol wol be anyitande men be kata Adam Baro la mol men kata kewni ya wol be anyitande Adam o anyitande wol belal ko Adam Baro te winda. But these same people today will le ka mole Adam Baro 2026 abenye Musa Susso la video men ya ko sebe forumol kono akoy be balon le dada say ka men be tarla tila sande be baro la nataro le kele bal. You see how foolish an old man like Musa Susso can sit and think about such kind of stupidity. Let's continue.
Baradal ya moja mfata audio la mo beta fono la bare dukare de chanso to fang ne kila fa beso de chanso to yakubandi akacha ya boy okay abaraka sere e to Musa ya jël ni musulwal to Musa Njai or Musa Jeng ya understand ya boko nan den kilin to do we se kibiri mbadumul be buleno barndol badumul kanda mo soto la mi worta modol tal mol
you see they are hypocritic yela kuma nafiki al mo and then the sad thing is nil bebe NDP level and these are the same people branding UDP as a tribal party but ibe duma they are doing their dirty politics. You see they will be surprised new audio fundita nyadi la ngale fon damman be suspicious soto la nyode. Because for me, I have a lot of audios. Molka audio Kenyan and many other they are not even into politics. But it can mean for Nico kana audio you'll see. Because now face ya draw e balo na ko jomale ya funtindi. But before I even came before I come to live here Facebook, I want to expose this Musa Susso because ngajila video bondi sign akonyeko no problem because we found the kamfari ngakamale. Because that man is not even into politics, you know. Akonyeko, you can go ahead. I never do this. Because I have a lot of secret audios here. May I look up from all the
because they got that one in control. They think of orders. Welcome bad one batondi. They lie. But in front of what until they be command, mote do and the they either take you, Nimi be silent, later silent, la fight a mulfon called the back and bolt, near Kelly Jubo on a 5cc or body.
Because the cabinet do not know the core that in a day like a for Lola. Yeah, because it ain't a killer cutting in Banco can. It got a cutting in Banco can find a better surrender. Yeah, for Hamlet because. Ini mo la nyanto we nyame wo perfect let ini hadama ini mo hada hani dia mo nya hadama de moy akam fata nyaaw nya dia mo ta hadama de moy so siki ibe mo ma ko kam min to kullu to banke oto an hadama de mo be bala nyame bi nin kumu man sa kunda nyanta to mo sifa le nyinina atel mo kende sifalu man sa kunda nyanta atel mo kende sifa le nyinina ali tara bala annay do koke barhani ito kela mili be batandi la mili be tinyaro kele masakunda kala fi mo si falala mo kendo
yare Gambia musodol beje Gambia musol fon la ko ndeki jobondi la Molto bata membe musol kan Gambia. It's very sad. Yeah.
Ite la value be nyame Gambia banko kanja. Nte meta fle ne patilo. Ni la patilo. Mi man sule bebe sula lela. Ni tata foi standa. Mo be stande fi. Nte dan nga foi ne be ku don te bije. Mo be men fola I don't care. Ante ala lente ni ta kafunde. Andula kano sondo mo wala bento konani la.
Yeah, one like e ka foi ko la kano sondo mo wala bento. E ke madu.
Nte sa ta jadum ko mo beje.
Anu jabi kunam golo mude munan bidawna ala fanale sabari jabi gasam manyulu al kana kenyi mosi falti dai jare im fana vila kita jabi kunam golo ti ako wate sa
ite mo ko na mbagilo we bulan no ni wulta sundo nga wuli ni wulta tilibulo nga wuli ni wulta ularo anytime ita wulta telo wulla nimbota akala
jabi gasam ma jonka mayru
because ita mu Gambia demol tintel be mu Gambia demol le tintel to nyotu no laje as far as ite kamin ke Gambia banko ka ite o nyente kala record in net Gambia bela ani president fa la fa bari aketalo ko man kon kamin fe ko nin kendo be buli bu kalo fa na bote buli wato ne kan ala kende yalo wallahi la patini yalo ye patilo ibo moso ibo hadama do sotola anu molbe bambule ko ma imam mi expect fa mo le kala bu boba tel mi yalon koko imantere dan kun kambi dun si sote so sulela ite jela o lun si sote so suledi amunyo ya difficult because we be mun ke no gere tamin ke no laja we be mun falete tamin fo no la in bankoka we be tala min to lete na no in bankoka nja anin sa mo be bal andu kanun telephone be bulle andu mari bu kalo fo ni dun ta ku ko ne wulita e ko mbengi ne kala yaji be kanun tele be be kafule kan ben ka be sa ko so fa ne son be fankere mbato mena ko la kafo allo ni hakilo ba kan ne no fo andun te be ko to mbato ibe ko to mbije andu ibe ko kala ni mbonda kalama wajibo lo moti nan dan ko because kunun kan dan ko la bana na bente nan dan ko ne ndama kuje en batin na tete nan dan ko ne because no no mo yemu for already nte bi ni misal fe ko Musa e kafolo bi wallahi azim nte ba kafo ni nte ba gilo ko kafo ni ay work na sembola wo na fero la wo na dia mu nyala wo mbagile ko ngalon simfulol because akamune ke kamulle sabana yenana bi ni ka folo mol be dan kunne la da anu ngama ta da mama ni ko mo fayde anu ni ka folo man ni expect asike wo ekede because Gambia bi ta kan nyame hani si fa moya abukalo ani si na ko be ke moya abukalo any mistake ni try ni a try don for mistake kilin ke don afena problem onat bar ni lo de fay ila ko ke fay ni lafte la wol minal andu miliya lon ko ibe tonya fasa kan alana la kila wol bula le normal ha ma ko fanya fola mol fode fanya fola dol fansi bile no normal bar alane sabar lalam andu fanan Gambia banko kay man ku ke jande min be kala mo be min fala ison to de itata dawda musa mo kendo de musa ketata ne musa mo kendo de musa ni moy musa le nyin sinte ma musa le e ko donon na moy so wa munan na dobe min kedete to keno la isa keno min si atawate andu mo be bamburi ko male de ni wulta wa do wate mo be wulde fel andu mela fle be ko musa ya ko nyaay be ko don tafa na betare ko ma nin na moy ibe ko do ni amul ko man min nan dan ko nela tafana ale o din tafana na le ni ko man din nan dan ko nela ha
moy ntulo dia ko lu ngole moy indi amula kamin fo batu ngana fo e sanji jama enente filta nyomale bari ndeka min moy la kuoto ni saten ko ni banko kan bosirin ku kilen ni musinde o fo ben bulelo miro ben bulelo mu to nyalti e man turjo fi ni banko kan andun itete fon makamo lonna foni mamante patilo patio puti bayin banko ke be sabale nakil inte fana wulo o fo ejan ite tawta patilo iter pati samano de blokon patio pati be safelale ine la kafdingol be eta yata tolkan ni patio pati bayin banko kan woli manaba neje fela ko le fonda sadama be man pati mi lolom ela ko da wonte entide nyaaje mam ela ko da satenti man pati mi lo ne pati lo wallahi li adil pati do be sabal min ya lon kadko wol man sula bini ya do ko bari itita wolon nake ba sulari lale fone pati lo bari nyim pati lo fana ate kel ko min ka bo bole tele dawo mol mobilize ro nga nyoka nga bonyo kalama
Gambiano.
Gambiano to say la kumol kanto kumol betiate sahaba anu mobi ke fal kultendo nte de ngawo foele menele maka politicien nene man politiko long ba itela dungoje itela lo patito ya yenteni te boda nyokan do lala mukatala na bungol kon ha ya je suta tinte te boda nyokan o den kata lala wato sita ifana itela anun tel be kundela la ronka wode wonga ni o benela ngo tawta andum manke moti sawi be entelon de manke moti min kam mo jam fan kon fon fe na ma kam mawara rembe diamo le dunia dawo da na tarkat ko itambita nyaado ha ngala tan tungi je bak almala be dema alama ala be dema ninna karbi je almala ya tarende ba ibina letla de ibina lete 2026 lomo ibina letla nga funti nga mamang barka baka barka nyinka nga ko mo we dawo blaga mirangene nyinka de to nyinga yana ka kumasa kabrin san de to party lo bawo party ne party lo janning akasembo soro sa Washington ta da mande bare te la party lo woni sembo binana na bawo har bare jamala be koma dina la mol be koma le fondinkel be koma musol be koma ya fam oro party woni ta lolal party wonya dalola bawo barona la mol wol me ke ko lo wol me la ke ko lo den dol tol ballola ka ke ke kele on social media ndol le ballola ke kele on social media to bring out their corruption, their dirty doings. Okay, ka foko ha them actual detaining them. We don't care about that. We want to salvage our country. Our country is sinking. Our country is sinking in the hands of this, this barrow and this cartel. And, you want to tell us that, we are actors, we don't have right to talk. For crying out loud, this is our country. So, Mussolini killed Mobe Dabalodin.
Yalo memma balafati. The people, they know the truth. Yalo ngonyim banko amantata kunka. Yalo ngo barrow corruption is full in his government. Yabelo. If that more kilun le be, Sai Musa Susso is in executive of NPP. Today they are with NPP. Let's continue listening to them.
But near party do, you join UDP. So you join the UDP, that way, there is a contract coming signed with UDP. Coming last time, presidential election, Musa former Sox plumber, Cabra joined the UDP and a contract last time called UDP win that vice president. So they append their signature on that paper. So you're saying, to one day, Masakunda from Nimbarole Masakunda, Nita Luta, Itakoha, and one party low. A lot of people, they will come outside, they will come, Balone be sent to Yalato. Wallahi Azim, don't be a boom open. Farmer, the same thing, not family, the same thing.
So, this is their strategies. Yahweh coming from Musa Susso. And then follow for say lies. UDP ni marsok man any contract sign kanita ni koni UDP ganyeta marsok bekela vice president. And this is the strategy most of these so-called small political parties. Many aloko, they don't even have a regional offices. Ebuka Congress ke, ebe tama kantene like the political party like GMC. The la IEC leman serious. If not, there are so many political parties in that country, they should be deregistered. They should be dissolved because they are not fulfilling the criterion or the demand of our electoral electoral laws. So, the same thing. That's what they are doing. The mafias. Imankia, Gambia, la Nyatotala, corruption member Gambia, they know it. They know that the country is not going. But because of Musa Susso interest in detail, that's what they care about. And Imam Kavu Musa Susso, a political party law, a betale Hani UDP for any contract was said no, Pruning UDP Ganyeta Musa Susso was a kind of president. And this same interest will Murundi Adama Barokam Koteke. And this one
use our voice, to bring in young people like us. Can I be no partido? Can I be a partido? Near a partido, you join the UDP.
You already a party don't you bring in people for you. Come to okay la no fonti fa. Ka fuka andro ma to le timbaru ngana fongo gen no. To okay la no did. Bao Gambia be aja kabinda kana Gambia, you know, who is behind it? Musa Susso on the back.
And the yaja jomale be diamu kante. Alenyi lonne. This is Musa Dabo. Membe Nigerian Nollywood kono. Bo membe acting la in Nollywood. Wala kanyin kuma kan fote. Wala be diamu kante.
Or need a blood koku kono, you know, ndolfana, you know, ndolfana fao ko indole me and my family and everybody, my entire fan base, we will definitely come. Inshallah Rabbi. Because never mind time moment the Santan and Mbugam Batuno. You know, Mbugam Batuno, Ferran. I mean, for all on Fernand, later even a later, Janita Balon, 2026 April already in Bolocon. And on Saturday time, we'll do Chile. So CBC will live out the dome. You know, let's start doing something.
These audios were this last April. April ending. Many audios more
mobilize, you know. More mobilize school at least. Title meaning that submit or submit IEC, yellow on Patilo. So come in here, Cavania, me and I join the Patilo, and they fake. If I join the Patilo Tom, Abakela UDP, because UDP, I can all on Patilo, they can go head to head with a Baronian government, only single party. They can go head to head with Baro or proof. Coming Kabaro willing. So, or never join any party, don't they feel, you know. We join UDP near Patilo, they join it all then. Yeah, a coalition of form, Ale Baro Bond. Barofana, I get a very concrete agreement. Me and Guamanke verbal agreement about suffering. Koha, Ning succeed and Ning winter. Mbakala
And what I don't even get, you are suggesting that as Musa Susso should join or form coalition with the United Democratic Party. What is okay? But at the same time, you have the second suggestion that's as he join no NPP can. Hello? A party that you just, you know, party me yalong ko yela corruption of. Party me yalong ko yela corrupt practice ko ibe banko tinya kane difficulty yeo befo. At the same time, ikafo moeko even those that party nini be coalition of formula should be based on, you know, concrete agreement, and that agreement should be what Musa Susso's interest, but not the Gambia's interest.
This is number two. It has to be. Yeah, it has to be number two. You know, obviously, you know, near party law, you know, ela mol batamila mama kande nyola multi. Definitely, ela mol batamila ola multi, ela mol batamila esa fal nyola multi. To be honest, like we are talking about bigness. Coming kawarana madama. Eman ke president ye ko eman ke eman on political party form but mo jelle ke na kandidat gudela kafu jelle ba karfalila an adam baro ya o kaful form man karfalila as a president or bide lo re ko bi ko okay la fana fongolo form la ajibe drum de ajibe drum so nyin kamin folon de iba late la ibina late 2026 ko sita so ngakuche
Yeah, Seti Jan Hadara Lakafu. You know, I more than no kumofai. I another phone no suokona. Another phone no suokona. But in the Panana Moneka Wolomco, Naka, Lina, when you consume that and Nila Mola. One Gelegele full and came in fund.
Look at this.
That was Seti Jan Hadara meeting. And the idea that Seti Jan Hadara Mantra for Coconin, come more than Kumofai, another.
Okay. So this is the business what they are doing. Most of these small political parties. Nibe meeting kela. Pro kamansa kuna wala kina kafa ko Gambia diuni. Alikana so moli alla banko ke coming ko tulunda na mwalti. Alikana so moli alla banko ta ka kela na afuli ngini ndawlti. Sekti jan hydra. Ay muneke. So that's meaning atatani musindimu ya pro yama ko molito pura ala mituna Moses ya. Why Gambians we are so fake? Why can't we be realistic for ourselves and to be honest for ourselves? Momentably, just to, to manipulate the growth so that the president, the sitting president, is a mumu when is allergic to the growth so that now NPP because NPP is a lot of maturity is lack of in that political party. They have no moral, they have no integrity, they have no wisdom, and that's why all this political drama is going in our country. So imagine it a moment mentality. You just go to the people, yalongo nyil bebe mol fundin no lanyel. Musindim fo ya foloko. Ateleta da moto jolle fundin now safety jan hydra. Kasambala mitindla. Even though those people are not in his party, just to make the group more. Let us go.
Alhamdulillah.
That ever since now, friend, Kabesa Roko Susso Foundation was from carrying Batomena. Uncle Laka for Allo.
Tom, Tonyalo.
Sorry. Look at this.
Yeah.
Anyanta minister labu. Aya sokabu.
Akonya saketi mwana na katika mimbi de nga be sai bi akole tandena kata ni nemi mfanye tonyalo nta yalo hana madunga akonya na nta ebu kalo ko mobe kanu nta moto lo nola nta bar ko sarkul la katara lo sarkul ni mo la ni do.
So this kind of women, they are not ande bambala fa fonsoto ni tada banjula leptano to the condition na pregnant women are going through, not only the pregnant women. Ite kata ekauta politician olia eka kodo taybulu pour kam wol ñini ke nati ndila metin la at the same day kana lo ka fo mare ko la ñim parti otita. These are the kind of the country that we are living.
Okay, because of it mtel kam mo mil bondi te ko bondi no. Okay, ndaka function nga fa ko la parti amon duwa ko bar ko ti en kai fo andu bi akamurun ka ga amne te da ma hanya. So ni wal ko mo gano nyolo aninye ni ndol parti dol min beja ni ko mu wal ki ite so foundation na fa hana man ke ila parti kulo de so foundation ne sembo so wal because of BB so foundation na fin ta mol ka no so foundation fin ta so ko te parti lo ga so ko te parti lo ita na fa fo mo be fela an ni to so ko nga fa nyame to so la lela fanya patilo ni sulia patilo debe sula le debe la fleni yesi debe la fleni okukas so abedan ko be better block on time is going now move on
la ngadi amala ni na kumo moyle amisalum fele abukol komin ko Ahmad Baba Nyame Ahmad Ba Clinton abika mo soto ban sate dol for da bikan one vote for abika soroje Ahmad Baba bilna sita ayemira akubatu ngata join party dot andu mota Ahmad Ba koma para akubatu ngata join party dot ala jono to ni bite baba arjono le kono duni arjono bole kono min diata ko wala fu min diata ka wala ke no sorry abe baro beke kamiyal kat ko diata tele ana man dia banko din wala ba fel ajiba ka demo sonyam na ba diamul ko min ka tel tamu molti andu man kel lidin party al party man kanye abika one vote from Soto Sate Dolto. Baribira joint ni party can drong ala dimba malata. And it tembo minto be nite party law. Even leading party from well from Bengabala. Jabakela Congress agreement. Kunyini nyale sartola ndale kaito dalia sai. Ni be saunje Gambia be mitalti.
Gambia be matale
wakili bo ibina letolla di definitely ibina letolla sila nyimba jaminto jamu metale
Gambia be Musa Susso tare
akada ba yawati dinda ba what is to wobe funtina bengeya ha alim ba kala house meeting bro house meeting abakala wala de ko because ajibe na minimum na miro ti prum ba kala on tatela dal ko wonta be jemi alon kad ko anyanta kala science as soon as possible abaraka ba aje ko slang kuoto Musa bulo kono ndare bul sain da maje o nyamade ndaje nyamin sain dol da mal min ko communicate ko ben tol fon da mal de bul sain Musa tanta founti tolle ta Musa ti andu molo ma ti ni alon ko fantu mol bulu bakele amanga nin soto oto kamaran tol da maluban alinga bonu nyo kalma science as quick as possible science alinga bonu nyo kalama nin bota nyo kalma rek ngalung di al control be lakka kana benke house meeting ke science te ji wat ston kon ntel lafta wala sai mo di la mo ben ton min da mal be communicate kan ton dim bota nyo kalama silan ko to hondare bulbulde don da manga bon nyo kalama ba nga wati ston di nyola ata house meeting kala bu na fa ko honorable dolni ni kuma kankar la na te kan andu lafte ke wala nyam molo mad men ka flexible ta ba ta fa nya contact la ba ta fa na fon ta funti la no science a fa ko mba kala le on tilin tol la nyanta funti la kan katanga sin na tan dela ko dolni ni kuma karne na te kan andu lafte le bulan no ka kuma kawala ni wo ketara ka ba bolala no ka inshallah alma sura kan non science a nga bon no ka ba ni kuma kan wo lafta mo be ni nan ko ka wala
Mariano ni aji be do man dolo ya understand ni misal fe like forum mo ta science and technical min be di amo kam be ngatraje ani ngatra comme ça kan hani motan ni lulu mu an sin so no ngabe di forum no kun sa ko di amo bi also ma ba bariade onye odi transfer nya bitete fuma batandi ya bar comme like nim forum mo ta science and de min kadi amute de nga fera ko ni kono na ko ni finalize sai so nga fere ke nga be fere ke be benete yalo ngomina sa den so fana lonno
gili bari mashallah ngai di do futata to ngala ko di do futata to ngala ngai bro de mi polande damandi wul wato be mudan bare ngai ku ni fana ma fi abuka kino sai no ko ke wato standing bro la sulunga bi konton alhamdulillah be ko kedin ko mo ni nyat yemi po fana di kere because audio po wodo fana ko do ti wana mo be group kedin ko na do alhamdulillah nano tawri odul po la moy lanu so ni nyamin tenti ke fana so ne nyo nyama hale wono amma ali o kembe kila bara ko nai ko kai ani yol timata kay ngani yol timata la yakata moli karma ale jukila parakoto kuma do senkan ni warta nyinti qur'ano hormata assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh
wala mo kendo lo miti nako men sol be moyle yalo dunia mo kendo be time kill ne nakke badol kanyum fanya ako yenen ni 2 o'clock lam mo ko be ka 2 o'clock la ni trilam be tara trilam ni 6 lam wularo mo ko be tara 6 lam so mo kendo be time kill be kala kuma cleanet didal that's my advice na musa lom bakele ga musa londe wala nan koy nan tara sukro jang kon ton tay nay ñoje bare ina lam fara koto do bande ma sawara la ngay ngi expect demento man nafta wot billahi wallahi talla be kala sabo jaweta kunun ko den jali boto je ngabe fo ngalon ne yabu sete indi no ngoy ko batino cinema lew dunia ko no kiskisiro la highest point batino la kalaki boria yalo amanke fam fo bala moria do gambalo wala de jalba surtout jalba o yalo bodo moria falo is not possible fine be moria bulol siat mankli lasta haro bije lista haro hal ni normal kuru fa 15 francs do sa jeri ba keje kuru fa 15 francs drom do sa jero keje do sa ke kenyola do sa ke sulola bla jiyo kono yimbe mu siro fanalet no be por je yena lasta haro e boto ena lamuroto jajumo fanam bije batino bije is the highest listiharo lamuro jajumo to the fan batino is the highest
no jajumo moria expert rolle
is the highest point so fe fria kalipoto soto feta batino ko ka kisi tande ala bi tadira je wolam because nanga itoma fa Musa nenda kachala kan abika boy yaja ka wati boy yaja lundo be kachala ka seri ka Musa de ka do ka file seri sika seri mina batino fa da jelta ko je ko ke enay ko to ako nyoke batino mbar nga explain in the simplest form ako je batino batolam ako je moro fana be ka stode kay ha ngo kala mutale ako je sa moro baji jang botol be ranay batin tablu aka min ke ni Musa Susso na la hajo ay batin to killa basse Musa Susso $5,000 misali fi asa 2,000 ki batin to e basse afa ko Musa Susso na jan anal haji ko lam ya qu'est-ce que c'est batin ko je batin be tan dile so fo so fay ay 2,000 kilam la bi kabare basse o ya qu'est-ce que c'est min dia la wol dile Musa la
wallahi
ko je moria kullo babi je min kata morol da baltema batin to mansia ako je batolo ala harji wala ako je niya soto we do yirko le bala hapol le bala siat sayolum de vidolo widu chahante iba niya to wuddo niya widu timmandi yela ala be ngobe tan ala sibo ko do wala mu yaagi ne ka hajo minna aba sibo la le nyakoto whether positive or negative inam batinot yata ya widu ka fayat timmandi yela e hajo min nyinin ka ba sadile la either positive or negative anna mi ngomi tan drum abala ala ya wol nyama o ala ko fay ko non la kono wala na batin to ko aso wiri abaka boy para ba abakala para masaki so wala bije Musa wala na dino nyim mol kata noma inam dalilot bare me ko tindino je dal ngawle ci bare ñing teng mim be fokan teng kana duma ko mo futa Musa mo futa Musa kana ke that's my advice kana fita koti iman akode ito mala pura a kiskisi na kiskisi na fo yo buta
yedna nyim broad sanya ya
alay ko de salfu jeti
ya
so tala ko de ala ko moriya ga fam bar bi morte bulu momote bu Musa kola salfu ko je ko malla fu mor la bola ko tek na balo ko salfu jeti ako nyim malla fu lamu ko malla fu mor ni mor ba fer so na balo ko ni Musa kola salve ko babon dila ala blamin to ko fe abon dije don dia ko yudi pin ko fek litro sa fe fon ko diala deadline diala hay ke jaw faje
yudi pin ko fanam bata
ko Musa ko man
ni ko be mu yudi pin ko ni de ka bata
ala no le ka to ko fay bu jodro abu demin tek ko fay bu jodro yudi pin ko bara min be fayol kata kay ila sada haynan tayta yene tan dina tabonde bade sababu bi na ba kala kewol ta bene kan wala ko sababu da wala kata Musa billahi ba to ba da fa ala subakal taje dinno wala mala sura sufo be batari sufo be korakirin tustala fondinke sufo be korakira ab windo kala nyama ab duaja fostola ala wa hab jabli afani suduko alman man ka fakala akoje fondinke ara sufo be batari sonda ka windo ke lamin ni windo nyinga ka ako jamal be ka duaja mode wala ni fondinke la ko Musa bol nyam dinno wala so tano mayamo okay baraka
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
كاي كيبا ما فهمنا موسى سوسو
الحمد لله my honorable, my comrade, my boss, my everything, my philanthropist nkono fata mandingol ko ba fata faka bon honorable najo filanda ka bole inshallah no ikanun dol hakilo be janjan dem bake yara ndam man tra hakil janjan kono yara nyon kan dol hakilo fana man ta tenkon membe ben hakilo kono felenti ni ko lo foten anyum fuere nun komando ko you are Gambia's future leader
Musa Susso future leader awdi billahi almu alaykum wa bul million donni wote ma
man so ala fana ka fanne batandi Little bal Makola until Mula Fanso let Musa until ye canule like Sunan Fitir Majioka Tara Nyokan or Yamentele can wanyale. Ila Betealamu, Langania Senia, Ila Mislimia, Kabala Famensoro, Mokori Rule, Alala Moleti, Gambia Suleta till Mosifa Lila, till Mudimba till letting all along, Walana Molbe Noma. Olubije Saya Vijay, Father Moose. inyanta enduno tala molele alata molbe koma inshallah billahi wallahi billahi alani alquran horomoto ani kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam horomoto ala sifasa katila fenti ni Gambia dimli yeti sifa soto nyato kurobe tala silo dola titaw silola modol be batare wolte batala ko moldol be foka molbe delo ko musifal folal bari honorable yanta fintilale inshallah yanta fintilale singo jibe mbulu nyamen singo man song singo son tanyen na mol ni mel be ni ndiamo ko mel futale be mal killing you organize that meeting ikanyim memfo ma secretariat dada o meeting ola ma positions ti nyola je and we help you to assist you and we IEC registration possible registration by hook or by hack you can show buka kumu anything like at all cost yes cost teleje dol meje banni je do be kanula adu ngalonne for sure because any agenda member findila or agenda will be very very marketable agenda. I know it. I don't nimol be noma mutaman sirolete nimol be noma mutaman sirolete because mol ala mol dale America kilindi de mbina kumya kono mbina sondo mo kono lo adi bele kumuji wakana ke kuma kilimoti ndele as a friend honorable as a friend ndefana yalo metenyo pola network la kita leading bufengola ruling party la jiwe san fo katala minister of intelligence to for batolo ni ala ko kare mo official work ala but ni ala ko kare political party le political member mo political party lo wo kabra dindi na ka sude ini teman dindi ka bari ni mele dindi ka sukura be yelone motio le ali ni mbenta ami dara jodo ne be no ma ami ni dara son min horan security kije dara jodram for up to boybota ami be dawda Musa le kafo up to sign mol yale ne coming for people love you are people's choice alala dankam molo wote alala kado mondi bonde jato bala ko kar fanay ngani ngere fanay ke molla moti ansa be balalde it blal had security and even the security son when you supervise or tell supervise can you in the army fana ikirana section commander you know and after army be down and take a sense because they score no goal they as a friend from be Danila honorable kodoge do ya de afolade ako do tamande drum era miro tandel wosita menna if an ajive drum na it come out with anything make sure the fans will highlight then enlighten about ila miro ila family fan I see ikacha ila close confidence because momo aka close confidence or close associates close confidence in the see and the family ni kacha and fit the and del kanun teul fanang bonda karama because it will tell everything to the alata kola it will tell the president it will tell the vice it will tell the minister it will tell everything and we wish you well we wish you to go ahead all the way to lead our country inshallah Ramadan sallallahu okay Al-Quran hormoto ila sallallahu hormoto kama jalika Allah aziz inna jalaka Allah yasir subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wassalam alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. May Gambian people see you one day as their president inshallah amin ya rabbal alamin amin ya rabbal alamin amin ya rabbal alamin alhamdulillah baraka al-mali asuna baraka honorable inshallah la friend long eke saner honorable honorable mulmi kanulen
there is no
port ci na kano describe no la port nyame bari alama le saw kenya rek barka amuso contenu na fi anin dinewul abla ñol be de contenu inshallah barka
ala yake samaratul fuadi lati sondon mulu nin akilolu nin adamadin kendolu milike mira ibela nafa fewla muyti ala yake yillati be kata fenna katibuli be fanna fa min itaba nona katu ala yete ken nafa lati be wala yatinna ini moro tema mota kunno laje ini moro tema min bije ala la bije ko kana kanyin ziyare ka bunya cika ka ayitandila na futa tetema Gambia be ba kalam mutalale na futa tetema alfa be ba kalam mutalale na futa tetema alhamdulillah fewo fen ni be kuto ibe ba kalam mutalale katu ayalun itele ma tati ayalun atele muitete wala ya tinna ala kankularo kibarul kono Gambia warata nyawonya amanta mi mo fulala ay min tombon Gambia kono kayitandi ke tofo be ala banke kono fatabarakalla ayekika ke kayitandi la wonyama akonni yete to yitandi fatabarakalla Gambia be ba fanjela le katu ite be sile ikete be talati akonya min banke nya konya nin ala ya talaro ke watalar fi'lu kono ala ya minni bo ba Musa Susso hula akon wa ala mefu fatabarakallah ndunga long watalar fi'lu kono imu fenneti je moyaye imu fenneti je lislamu yaye bari mu fenneti je kiliyaye kana kayi tandila lunkilu min ba bulu alhamdulillah ay duniya fi kili lunkilu minna wala munyin lunti nyin karo min ba kono ten a tilimuwan anin
kanun telo assalamu alaikum ba dongolo